show.
Hey, Kyle, training camp starts in 2 weeks and Wyatt Kaiser needs a contract. Can we get on that, please? We're going to yell at you next on CHGO Blackhawks. Happy Hump Day. Welcome into the CHGO Blackhawks Podcast. I'm Zawaski with Mario Tirabassi. Joey Christopoulos is here running the show. That is a sugared up RC Cola in the arms of Mario Tirabassi, who I can only assume will do the Kool-Aid Man run through the brick wall because of the RC later in the show.
I'm about to screech like an eagle.
Thanks for being with us. We love you. We appreciate you. Show us love by hitting that like button and being sure to be subscribed to our YouTube page. If you're catching up on the podcast, we love and thank you there too. Make sure you're following on your favorite app and take a few minutes to leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. We're going to finish off our mailbag questions from yesterday. We're going to start the show talking about Wyatt Kaiser, who 2 weeks from camp still needs a new deal.
Yeah.
But first, we've got some stuff we want to mention. Tomorrow, we're going to have Tony Granato in studio for the entire show.
Yep.
It might be in this room, which will be interesting. But he's going to be here one way or the other. So that'll start at 2, as always. Also, as I get my salute ready, major show announcement coming tomorrow.
Big stuff.
You're going to want to be tuned in, and I'll give you a little hint. If you've been waiting to become a diehard,
Do it now.
do it now. Because in correspondence with said announcement, there will be some major savings to be had with our major announcement. So become a diehard, allchgo.com/join. Do that now. Take advantage. Jump in.
Mm-hmm.
You will not regret it. Big announcement tomorrow. It'll all be revealed then. But you're going to like it. You're going to be very excited about our announcement tomorrow.
Yeah. It's to say that it might be the best that this type of announcement has been coordinated.
Yeah.
I think it's I think that is a fair assessment of what will be announced. So
Yes.
yeah. Stay tuned, be alert, and tune in tomorrow.
Yeah, don't miss it tomorrow.
And stay tuned for today.
Yes.
It's gonna be a good show.
All right, well, let's start with Wyatt Kaiser. And we've been kind of, this has been background discussion all offseason as we've been saying, oh, this guy needs a deal and this guy needs a deal. And we're sure it's going to get done here. And I'm sure it's just a matter of time and got to get together. But Wyatt Kaiser, from all reports, is in town. He's working out. He's available if Kyle Davidson wants him. And still no contract. He is a restricted free agent. He does not have arbitration rights. So it's not like they can go to arbitrator and have a deal worked out. It is up to...
Well, that would have already happened.
Yeah, it is up to the Blackhawks and Wyatt Kaiser to reach a deal on their own. And still nothing. And camp reportedly opening September 17th, 2 weeks from today.
Yeah, it's all been this, like, not if but when, but I think the when is starting to get a little, crunched down to the clock. Now, of course, it's still... I'm sure none of this is changing how he's approaching his readiness for training camp or anything. It's not like he's sitting on the couch and saying, I'm not touching the ice until I have a new deal. It's not like that, but it is kind of interesting that we're at this point, something that we've just assumed is going to be happening. I just wrote last week for ALLCITY.com my predictions for what the defensive group is going to look like to start the season. Kaiser is a part of it. Yeah. So I imagine he's part of this team, right? So it's just interesting. You wonder, is it a money difference? Is it a difference of opinion on, the term of the contract, what what he sees of himself in the future and fitting in the organization and what the organization is actually saying? Like it's interesting that we're to this point with this deal for a guy that we've all just kind of figured would have been a nice, easy, clean-cut thing about a month ago.
Well, let me say this, and I don't know what the holdup is I saw someone in the chat speculate that it's not so much money, but it's term. Wyatt Kaiser has very little leverage here with the Blackhawks. Like, I very much like Wyatt Kaiser. I want him to be part of things. I want him signed. I would be happy if he was signed long term. But the Blackhawks don't really have to do that. They have a bunch of guys waiting that can come and take his spot on the NHL roster if needed. You've got Nolan Allen, you've got Ethan Del Mastro, you've got Kevin Korchinski, and maybe they're looking at Wyatt Kaiser as a guy who, yeah, we saw some really good things from him last season in his 57 games with the Hawks, but he went back and forth to Rockford. Mm-hmm. He had really, really highs and then really low lows, and the ability to put it all together didn't really come together till the end of the year. And I don't know if he's not going to get Nazar money, but if he's looking for Nazar security, he might be barking up the wrong tree, because the Hawks might be looking at this thing and saying, we're projecting our roster out for the next 5 to 6 years. There's a lot of defensemen that we have in our minds higher than you. Maybe they're not there right now, but we believe that these guys are going to hurdle over you in the depth chart, and we don't want to have you signed long-term, regardless of money, if you're going to be our 7th or 8th defenseman playing in Rockford. That's a reality. And when you have that many first-round picks, and when so many of the guys you've drafted have so far panned out throughout their development, it's going to be tough for Kaiser to crack. So if I'm Wyatt Kaiser, I understand the desire for long-term security, wanting to know you're part of this thing. If I'm Kyle Davidson, I understand. I feel that from him, but at the same time, I'm looking at it like I'm not sure how much I want to commit to you. I think what we're going to end up with here is a short-term deal, maybe 1 year, and say, show me through 82 that you're the same guy for 82 games, and then maybe mid-season, end of the season, we talk about an extension.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's a 2-year deal for $3 or $4 million, something like that. And let's see where the cards fall then. And look, to me, Kaiser's a guy who's incredibly confident, believes in his game. Obviously, if there is some sort of stalemate, he's holding firm for what he wants. I think he's the kind of guy that would embrace that kind of a challenge from the Hawks and say, okay, you don't believe in me? You want to give me a short-term deal? Bet. I'm going to go out and put together 2 great seasons. Then you're going to owe me probably $2 million more than you thought you were going to. And then what? And then maybe he signs a deal with a new team, or they trade him and everybody's happy. But he's got no leverage right now. The only leverage he has is his ability to play. So I'm predicting short-term deal, 1 year, 2 years, and Kaiser, it's up to him to prove to Davidson and the Hawks that he's a guy that can be part of this thing going forward.
Yeah, I got to think that Kyle Davidson's probably approaching this deal now that we're at this point. It wasn't like necessarily a clean, easy deal to do that gets done in August and you don't worry about it. That we've gotten to, the first few days of September, 2 weeks before the camp, and we're still kind of waiting on this. I got to think that he's probably thinking, okay, if I go to X amount of dollars, let's say it's $3 or $4 million or whatever, for a guy that probably projects out to be is top at the top of his game, is he a really good second pair guy? Probably, but at this stage of the game, like, you have Alex Vlasic right now at 4 and change, and I think that seemed like that's a team-friendly deal. At least it seemed to be when he signed it, and it has panned out so far to be pretty fair. But you look at, okay, Renzel's going to be needing a new deal, Korchinski's going to be needing a new deal, and Levshinov will be needing a new deal in the near future. What kind of precedent do you want to set with signing a guy like Wyatt Kaiser, who you figure is going to be young guy, part of the group, playing in the NHL? But if you put him at $4 million for 3-4 years, whatever it might be, for example, then do you go to Renzel and say, okay, well, we want to do 4.5, 5, and if he outperforms what Wyatt Kaiser does and has a higher value to the team, you'd say, then he's like, well, no, I'm not going to do 5. I want to do more money. And same thing goes for Levshinov if he gets to that point. Mm-hmm. And Korchinski, like, then you're kind of like, okay, where do you go with your defenseman? Because you only have so many spots that you can work with, and you only have so much money. Eventually, you will eventually you're going to be getting to a point where the Blackhawks have to worry about the salary cap, even with it going up and all that. Like Bedard's going to get a new deal, and the defensemen that get new deal, like it's all going to add up eventually. So I wonder where Davidson's mindset is at with where he wants to go with this Kaiser deal, because if he feels like Davidson, it's too high, then he's possibly setting up for Levshunov and Rinzel, their benchmarks, to be higher than maybe he wants them to be.
I mean, that's the concern. And I also don't think you can, as you mentioned, I don't think you can pay Kaiser more than you're paying Vlasic. That can't happen. So
you wouldn't think. Yeah.
I think that. Jeez, I don't know. Like, he's played how many NHL games has Kaiser played? 98 NHL games.
Yeah,
including 57 last year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've seen a lot of good stuff from him. But as we've talked about a lot, like, really good skater, can move the puck well, not overly big, not overly physical. I don't know if he'd be like a shutdown type. Kaiser's just kind of an interesting case study. And I think the Hawks kind of feel the same way in that, like, we don't really know what we have here. Mm-hmm. It's kind of hard to determine that. And that's why I think, like, he's a 3rd round pick, 81st overall. So right in the middle of the draft. Not like a super high pedigree. And I'm not trying to denigrate him, but as you're saying, Mario, like, the Hawks have to be smart about asset management here. And they've got a lot of NHL ready defensemen. They don't want to, I mean, look, if you have too many, you can always trade one, but then teams are looking at you like they've got too many. They've got to trade one of these guys.
Right.
And you're going to get pennies on the dollar for whoever it might be.
Right.
If it's Korchinski, if it's Kaiser, if you're dealing from a position of weakness or a position of you have to make a deal, then other teams know that. Mm-hmm. And you're not going to get the maximum value for it. So I don't know. I think ultimately this gets settled. I would say like 2 years, somewhere in a $3 million range for Kaiser. I think that gives him a good amount of money that he's never had before. Mm-hmm. It's more than a 1-year deal, and it gives the Hawks some time to figure out what they've got in Levshunov. I mean, they know he's going to be good, but how long until he's good?
Right.
Same with Korchinski. I think Rinzel feels like a day one NHL player here for sure. And then see like who wins the race between Allen, Del Mastro, and Kaiser. And of those three, who's better? Because those guys, Allen and Del Mastro, need new deals after this season. Mm-hmm. So they're going to have to figure it out soon.
Yeah, and I also wonder too, if you're putting Kaiser in that conversation of, okay, you're in the mix with Del Mastro and Allen and Korchinski, and you're in that mix of who's going to make the NHL roster out of camp. Well, if Kaiser walks into camp with a brand new, $3 million contract,
it guarantees him a
spot.
Then
that it doesn't have to, but it essentially does say you're being paid as an NHL player. You are now being paid to be on the NHL roster. Like it essentially kind of contracts him into being a roster player. Not actually, but it sends that message. I would view it that way. So
that complicates things too, because that spot should be open. I don't think that job should be handed to Wyatt Kaiser by any means. I think that Del Mastro or Allen or Korchinski all have an equal stake to that spot. Mm-hmm. Stake. And they should be able to fight it out in camp. And if like we said, if it is a deal for $3 or $4 million, he's not going to do that in Rockford.
Right.
But then how do you solve this problem?
Well, I think here's the thing. If they give him that deal, then they believe he's going to get that spot.
I think that indicates that it's his spot to lose,
that's an indication of you're going to be in the NHL. We believe you're going to be in the NHL. Your spot is, yes, it's going to be a competition, but you have the upper hand. If they're fine giving him that with the messaging of we want these young guys to battle for these spots and to be able to earn those minutes, that's fine. But you just have to do it with the idea of, well, we've given Kaiser this deal. We expect him to be in the NHL. If they're fine doing that, then that's fine. But I think you look at his skill set matched up with especially Del Mastro and Allen, physically, size difference, that's not in his favor. But I think the way he plays the game, reads the game, his transition ability, his two-way ability, I think is a little bit better than what those two could do. And if you're looking at if Jeff Blashill wants to play a more responsible and fast game defensively transitioning to offense, I think Kaiser gives you that edge over Allen and Del Mastro slightly.
Especially, I mean, right now.
Yeah.
I want Kaiser.
So I think that I think if you're looking at it that way of how you're building the roster, you probably put him in there in that spot. It just kind of comes down to, do you bake him into that spot with this contract?
Yeah, that's the delicate balance that Kyle Davidson has to do here. So, all right, we're going to get to your mailbag questions next. Now that we've had this conversation, expect the signing to happen around 3:03 today. Actually, we'll be in our cars when it happens, so probably 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
And then we'll have to scramble into an emergency pod, but hopefully we just willed it into existence. We'll be back in 2 minutes. Hit that like button if you've not done it yet. We'll be back on the other side here on CHGO Blackhawks. You may have noticed yesterday I had a RC Zero Sugar with me on the desk.
Zero sugar.
I'm all out. I drank all 12. You know why? Because I'm not soft. And this world has gone soft, unlike RC Cola.
Yeah.
RC is an OG cola in a world of spineless soft drinks. If I see one more acai soda or orange dreamsicle, no. I just want cola, brown, bubbles in my face hole. That's all I need.
Yeah.
Quit sprucing it up.
Put that
RC,
brown in Jay's face, he says.
They don't change anything. RC Cola is not a soft drink, just damn good cola. They have not changed since 1905. Why would you? It's already perfect. Get yourself some RC for your end of summer parties. That's kind of a bummer. Back to school celebrations. That's not a thing. Or just watching the game. That is a thing starting tomorrow night. RC is the move for whatever you're doing. RC Cola is not a soft drink, just damn good cola. It makes you tough.
All right, athletes. Now I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
I have a question. Are you serious about leveling your game up? If you are, the right coach is out there that can change everything for you, and finding them is now easier with Eye on the Ball. Doesn't matter if you're a kid just starting out or competing at the top levels, you can sign up totally free at eyeontheball.net. Create your profile, search through coaches in your sport, and connect directly with the one that's right from you. From soccer to swimming to baseball to basketball, not water polo yet. You name it, coaches are there for you. So what are you waiting for? Your future coach could be one click away. Jump on today at eyeontheball.net. That's eyeontheball.net. Find your coach and take your game to the next level. And coaches, they're looking for you. It's super easy. Sign up, upload your background check, sign up either monthly or for the full year, and you can put yourself out there and find athletes wanting to get coached up.
And it is our Big Brothers, Big Sisters month of giving here at CHGO and All-City. We'll be raising money all month for Big Brothers, Big Sisters. Yesterday, we had a great conversation with Jeremy Foster, the president and CEO of Big Brothers, Big Sisters of Metropolitan Chicago. Great stuff. Good conversation. If you missed it, go check out yesterday's show. We're asking for your donations all month long. bbbs.org/all-city. Help out this great cause. When talking to Jeremy yesterday, talking about how, kids that were mentored then become mentors and big brothers and big sisters. And it's just this constantly evolving and rotating service has been going on since the 1900s.
1900 something.
Yeah. One of the most successful charitable organizations in American history. And they still need help. So please hit them up. bbbs.org/all-city. Even if you give $1, $2, sacrifice a cup of coffee, one of these mornings, make your coffee at home instead and throw a few bucks to Big Brothers, Big Sisters. We'd appreciate it big time. bbbs.org/all-city to help support our efforts in a very meaningful way. We've got a $2 super chat from our buddy Ovi Clapbaum. Says, I think moving on from Kaiser would be a mistake. I agree.
I think it would be premature to say, well, the deal's not done, so let's look for a trade partner. Like I don't think it's necessarily at that point. And to the point that you made about like his leverage, like if he goes into camp and says, no, I'm going to hold out until I get a new deal.
Okay.
Then I think you look at it and you're like, all right, well then next man up, and they've
got many
men up that can take that spot. I think if you say, well, Wyatt Kaiser's spot is now open, I'm very comfortable saying, well, Korchinski or Del Mastro or Allen are guaranteed a spot. Great. And then the other one goes to one of the other two. Like, it's completely fine with that. So if he wants to do that, that's his prerogative and his agent's deal. But yeah, I don't think that serves him any better because it just keeps him off the ice longer. Because once training camp starts, he'll be on his own. He won't be in camp if he doesn't have a deal. It's just not going to happen. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. Hopefully in the next 2 weeks it gets done.
I think it will.
Because I think we're all better for having Wyatt Kaiser on this team. I don't think that they're better off without him whatsoever. So yeah, and I think if it's a reasonable deal, I know we were also asked like what we think a deal would be. For me, I feel like a middle ground for prove it / figure out where you fit in the future of the organization / like this is, an investment in you would be a 3-year deal, I'll say, because then that gives some time for the defensive group to kind of find their footing with Vlasic and Rinzel and Levshnov and Korchinski and all these guys that we keep talking about. Keep him in the fold for that long. I think $3.5 million. I think to me that seems like the friendliest kind of deal that he could get, and that also I feel comfortable with that because if you believe he's a guy that's going to play, maybe on a second pair role, I think that's a steal for that at that point. And as the salary cap goes up and as cap contracts kind of evolve, if a third pairing defenseman is making 3.5, that's fine.
Yeah,
you already have like a good deal with Vlasic at 4.1. So if Kaiser was at 3 or 3.5, I can't see how that would be unfair to him. No,
but that does, to your point earlier, I think that solidifies that he is the guy for the job without a competition.
Mm-hmm.
One more from D. Paris says, who has shown more upside, Kaiser or Korchinski? We're talking about who has shown more?
Man.
Probably Kaiser, but Kaiser's 23. Korchinski's what, 20?
21.
21. So, I mean, there's a significant amount of more hockey played. They're also very different kinds of players. I mean, you saw Kevin Korchinski play an entire NHL season and not look completely lost. Did he look great? No, but he was paired with Jacob Megna and Jared Tenorti most of the season.
Yeah.
Which can't be ignored.
That makes a difference.
Right. That's where it's not like he was next to Seth Jones or Connor Murphy or Alex Vlasic. He was
for a long stretch.
He was as a 19-year-old, he was the best defenseman on that pair every time he was on the ice.
Mm-hmm.
So he was being asked to do a ton in a less than ideal situation. I mean, the guy's a 7th overall pick versus the 80th overall in Wyatt Kaiser. That's for a reason. So if I'm who has shown more upside so far, I'll give you that. I'll say Kaiser. But if I'm betting on somebody's future, I am 100 times out of 100 taking Kevin Korchinski over Wyatt Kaiser to ultimately be the better player.
Here's their numbers over their NHL careers. This is from Hockey Reference. This is just the counting numbers. 98 games for Kaiser, 92 for Korchinski. So it's pretty
even.
It's essentially an equal sample size. 4 goals, 14 assists, 18 points for Kaiser. 6 goals, 11 assists, 17 points for Korchinski. Here's a big one. Korchinski a -44, Kaiser a -4.
That's
now, I think that's when we talk about plus minus and how we poo-poo it, that kind of difference is I don't think that is one you can just kind of poo-poo to the side. That's a 40-point difference in plus minus.
Yeah, that's significant.
But to your point also,
there is no Megna or Tenorti.
Matchups, defensive pairs, the kinds of minutes they're playing, it does take an effect. 107 shots on goal in their career for Korchinski, 98 shots on goal for Kaiser, and a point. So the point share from Hockey Reference is a 4.3, which is positive for Kaiser, and a 1.9 for Korchinski. Average time on ice, 11:19 for Korchinski, 17:54 for Kaiser. Over the course of their careers, Korchinski has played 10 more NHL minutes than Kaiser. So even though Kaiser has 6 more games than Korchinski has played in the NHL, Korchinski was logging more minutes per game the time that he was in the NHL.
trying to find the most.
I hope that has solved anything.
No, seriously,
it really hasn't.
Kaiser's most common. It looks like Kaiser's most common D partner last year was Connor Murphy.
Okay, and he also got time with Artem Levshinov,
and Seth Jones.
He had time with Seth Jones. Korchinski, like you said, Megna, Tenorti. He got time with Murphy as well, for the most part. Yeah, I mean, Kaiser's had some better D pairs. He's also, and I think a lot of the like analytical data that's on him that gets put out in those public models, I think a little bit is skewed because of the matchups and minutes he's played. But it's still, I still think that it's not to say that is a disqualifier at all.
No,
you play the minutes that you get,
right?
And for the most part, he's been fine, if not good, in those minutes. I think as far as what we've seen at the NHL level, I think we've seen a little bit more assurance of what Kaiser can be. But I think we've seen more higher-end flashes of what Korchinski could be. You know what I mean?
Yes, 100%.
So again, I think this training camp, should Kaiser be in it, which we all want him to be and hope he is, would be a really good like litmus test for like where Korchinski stacks up in the group. Is he above Kaiser? Is he right neck and neck with him? Is he the first guy in Rockford? Like it would be really nice to be able to have the full deck of cards for the defenseman to work with.
I just looked it up. At 5-on-5 last year, the most common common D partners for Kaiser were Murphy and Jones. Okay. 2 years ago for Korchinski, the most common D partner by a vast margin was Jacob Megna. 377.49 play with Jacob Megna. The next closest is Connor Murphy at 258.22. Mm-hmm. So over 100 fewer minutes with Connor Murphy than it's Seth Jones, Nikita Zaitsev right on Seth Jones' tail.
Oh, yeah, Nikita Zaitsev.
So, I mean, that is a big difference in D partners. Playing most of your NHL career with Jacob Megna is not going to help you very much. So,
also at 19 years old. The most NHL time that Korchinski had was at 19 years old compared to Kaiser starting at 2021.
Right.
So it seems like we're splitting hairs between these two guys to find who is the better NHL guy right now. And it's a good problem to have because they both have higher ceilings in the NHL than, we're talking about, is this guy only going to be in the AHL?
Yeah.
I feel like both guys will have steady NHL careers. It's just to what level.
The Hawks are too good. My column.
Too deep,
too good, too strong.
Well, hey, I do want to shout out the DNVR Avalanche group. They've been going through their divisional rankings of the positional groups, and I had some what's a good word for it? Not angst, but a little, I don't know. I was a little twisted with their Blackhawks have the worst goalie group of the Central Division. And how can you have the worst goalie group when you have 4 goalies?
Right. Try scoring on 4 goalies, jerks.
But they were going through their defensive group rankings as well. And while they had the Blackhawks low, they did say, they do acknowledge that as far as the outlook goes, very likely one of the best defensive groups in the division, if not in the NHL. I'm paraphrasing, possibly in the next 3 years. Yeah. So thanks for the shout out, guys. We know it's bad now.
Yeah. Before the break, a couple people in the chat, I think Beach Picnic Joy said it, and a couple other people say, just let them play it and figure it out. Let these guys battle for the jobs. Wyatt Kaiser can't battle for a job without a contract.
That's what we're talking about. We want him to sign a contract so they can battle it.
That's what we want to happen. But if Wyatt Kaiser has no contract, he can't show up at camp. So that can't happen until he's signed, which is why we have some urgency. Again, I think we both believe something will get done. I think it'll be something that I heard Laz and Power say this on our latest podcast too, like that neither side is really thrilled with. Kaiser probably wants more term. The Hawks probably want to give him a little bit less money, but that's where I think we're getting this like 2 years, $3 million-ish conversation from. Mm-hmm. So we'll see. Hopefully it gets done soon. so we can move on and start really digging into what's coming.
It's
2 weeks from
it's
today.
like literally the last thing that needs to be done before we can actually like talk about.
In fairness, it's been a very busy offseason for the Blackhawks. They made that Andre Burakovsky trade, and they traded for Sam Lafferty. I mean,
and then what?
That's all. I'm being very sarcastic. All right, I usually don't like to promote the ad breaks, but you're going to want to stick around for this ad break. It's a very entertaining one. Some of our finest work. We're back in 2 minutes. Hit the like button on CHGO Blackhawks. Football is finally here. I cannot wait to get out to an NFL game this season. Not going to be able to go Monday, but maybe you can. Check out the Game Time app. It gives the advantage back to fans. It's the hack for unlocking amazing deals and experiences in a few tap. Vikings at Bears, Monday Night Football coming up on, yep, you guessed it, Monday. $287 gets you in the building. That is a bargain. That is the cheapest ticket I've seen by a long shot. So get those seats now. And if you're not sure what those seats are going to look like, you get a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy in. They've got their lowest price guarantee, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Take the guesswork out of buying NFL tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code CHGO for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code CHGO for $20 off. Tap, ticket, go. Download the Game Time app today.
Monster Jam is coming to Rosemont.
Oh, yeah.
The world's most powerful Monster Jam trucks and best drivers roar into Allstate Arena from September 12th through the 14th. The world's best drivers tear up the dirt as they battle for the event championship in 3 competitions. Racing, 2-wheel skills, and everyone's favorite freestyle.
That's my favorite.
Experience
Mine
Monster
too.
Jam live and become a fan for life. With an ultimate day of family fun at Allstate Arena from September 12th through the 14th, 2025. Get ready and cheer and be amazed as massive Monster Jam trucks and world champion drivers take over Rosemont. Tickets on sale now at www.monsterjam.com.
That's the internet.
Don't forget HTTPS.
Yeah.
5 stars.
Hey,
Our throats are torn up. That's why we're coughing the whole show.
it's part Monster Jam, part Patrick Mahomes. All in good fun.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
That is why my microphone was quiet at the beginning of the show. We had to
we were
compensate.
screaming.
Yeah, I gotta take one on that. The calibration was a little off, so
Yeah.
my apologies.
Yeah.
I don't usually get that loud.
That's right. We're banged up, man. Mario and I both have colds. I threw my back out picking up the mulch bag from my lawnmower yesterday. I weighed all of 8 pounds, but my back just literally fell apart.
Did you just
I lifted,
lift strictly with your back,
lifted-
lock your knees, and
I
put it all
lifted
in your
harder
back?
than I had to.
Oh, okay.
Does that make sense? So like the other time I've hurt my back several times, all of them stupidly. Once picking up my daughter, I was on a stair and she was on the floor. So that extra like 6 inches screwed my back up. I did it playing Papa Shot, just the constant motion going left to center.
Yeah.
I did it picking up an empty laundry basket that I thought was full. So I went like ready to give it a big lift because I thought it was full of stuff.
How did you think it was?
Because it had a lid on it. So I thought it was like it was
okay.
covered in full.
It was
of,
like laundry
you know.
baskets, if
So
something's
it
in
was
there.
like empty, so my back just wrenched. And then same thing yesterday. I thought the mulch bag on the back of the mower was full, but it was empty. So I went to lift it as if it was full of grass, and there was nothing in it, and my back seized up.
It's like when you're stepping on stairs and you think there's one more
there's
step,
not.
and you're like,
Yes, 100%. So I'm covered in icy hot. I'm taking cough drops, and I cannot recommend having a thrown out back and a cold at the same time.
Yeah.
Because every time I cough, it is agony. So good times.
My cough has lasted over a week. I'm not
Sweet.
sick with anything. I went to the doctor. They swabbed my brain through my nose and tested it, and they said, "No, you're not sick." And I was like,
Results were negative.
I think I am. But they said no. But just the cough, it got to a point a couple of days ago before I got steroids to deal with it.
That's how the Monster Jam read turned out.
Yeah,
Sunday,
that's why. The steroids I'm on plus the RC, you knew that Monster Jam read was coming out that way. but every cough was just like a kick in the chest, and it's rough. Anyways, we're old.
We're soft. We need more RC.
We need more
That's
RC.
the problem to toughen us up. All right, Joseph, let's go to the mailbag, shall we? All right. This from Warren Bedards says, obviously, a lot of these are long shots. Which one of these scenarios has the highest chance of happening this season? Bedard over 100 points, Nazar over 60 points, Knight has 3 shutouts, or Rinzel is a Calder winner.
Calder winner. Wow.
Oof, Calder winner is rough.
Highest chance of happening. I go.
I think Nazar.
Well, actually, okay. Let me think about this. Highest chance. Bedard over 100, I think would be wonderful. I think it's a long shot. If he's at a point per game, I'm happy. Nazar over 60 feels very possible, but Knight 3 shutouts. I don't know. I kind of like that.
I don't know how you're going to shut anybody out with this young of a defense
Spencer Knight, baby.
and this young of a roster.
How many? Okay, let me look at this here. What's your opinion?
I think Nazar 60 is doable for sure.
I think so.
I think so.
That one still feels logically the most doable. Spencer Knight has 5 career shutouts in 95 games. None with the Blackhawks, obviously.
Soderblom has not had a shutout yet in his career.
Okay. 3 in a season would be the most for Knight in a season, but he hasn't ever been a full-time starter. Yeah, I'll still say Nazar over 60 feels the most likely, but I wouldn't be shocked if Spencer Knight has a chance to get 2 or 3 shutouts this season.
I'd rank him Nazar, Knight, Bedard, Rinzel, because I think Rinzel's gonna have a really good year, but Demidov is still technically a rookie.
Demonov,
Is Matthew Schaefer making the jump right away?
maybe Michael Misa might be.
Misa might make the jump right away. Those offensive players tend to like. I don't want to go back to this, but just look at Connor Bedard. Had a really good rookie season, led all of them. Brock Faber had a conversation, but he never had a chance. Brock Faber never had a chance. And Brock Faber is a great hockey player.
Yeah.
Really good. And if Sam Rinzel is the Blackhawks version of Brock Faber, great.
Mm-hmm.
But I just think it's harder for a defensive-minded defenseman, though Rinzel does have some offensive upside and will have some power play time.
Oh, definitely.
I really think it's Demidov's to lose.
Yeah.
Montreal, high profile.
Yeah, the odds-on favorite right now is Ivan Demidov. You also have Alexander Nikishin. Yeah, I think, he's in that conversation. Zeev Bouillam's going to be in that conversation. Yeah. I think Zane Parekh, is going to be in that conversation as well. Especially as far as defensemen go, Bouillam and Parekh are going to have some notoriety. I think, but that's not to say that Rinzel can't go out there. And if he does play the full season in the NHL and put up, 30, 40 points, that would probably be the best case scenario.
I think he's a finalist, but not a winner.
He would for sure be in that conversation.
Yeah.
But I don't expect him to have like a Lane Hudson type of year where he's putting up 50, 60 points.
That'd be fine.
That'd be great. I would love that. I don't expect that though.
I was gonna ask you guys, when we say 60 points for Nazar in that world, would that be like a 20-40, a 30-30, more like a 35-25? Because it'd have to be goal. It'd be goal depend. Yeah.
I would think for a 20-40 would be the most likely.
If he's getting to 60 points, he's probably got 20 goals at least.
Yeah.
Right. But I mean, closer to the higher end of 30 goals a season, or you think he'd probably have to get on assists?
I think at his peak, at Nazar's peak this season, I think it's entirely possible he could reach 25 goals. So that would give him 35 assists to reach 60 points. I think that's possible.
That's certainly
especially
possible.
With the minutes he's very likely going to be getting in top 6 minutes with guys like Bertuzzi and Donato and Teravainen, and he might play some time with Bedard this year. Might play by the end of the year. Anton Frondell might be here and in the mix, and I think you give him the opportunity to play with some guys like that. He's going to be playing on the power play. Like he might sneak in some shorthanded points too. You never know with him. So yeah, I think it's entirely reachable.
Yep, I agree. All right, next up from Rooney. Said, aside from the Hawks, which team are you most eager to watch this upcoming season?
I think one of the teams that I am interested in watching, because I just want to know what they are, is Nashville. are they really bad?
Yeah.
Or was last season just a fluke, like one-off bad year? Big guys didn't, mesh well and the plan didn't work? Or is it, oh, shoot, Barry Trotz has designed a terrible team? That's and going back to yesterday's conversation, they're the team that in the Central Division I feel like is the most attainable for the Hawks to jump over if they are a bad team.
Yeah, that's certainly interesting. I'm going to say Montreal. I was so impressed with what they put together last year. I want to know, are they real, or is that kind of like a one and done sort of a thing? Because I feel like the league is better when Montreal is good. I know maybe people don't want to hear that, and it's Canadian bias or whatever. But like to me, that's like the Yankees of hockey, and they are a high profile team with a lot of young star power, very likable from Suzuki and Caulfield and all the young players they have. Obviously, Demidov is going to turn heads this year. I'm interested to see what Montreal is for real, because I think they might be, when we're talking about Chicago and San Jose and these teams that are in the bottom now but on the rise, when you're looking at the East, they're going to be one of those teams that, if we're talking about the Hawks in a cup final by the end of 2030 or whatever it might be, Montreal is probably going to be one of the teams right there with them.
That would be a lot of fun.
So that would be awesome. A Hawks-Canadiens final, and we get to go.
A Hawks-Canadiens final with Demidov and Levshinov going up against each other. That would be a lot of fun.
Golden Boy Paul says President's Trophy winner Winnipeg Jets with Taves, which unrelated, big show announcement coming later this week. Unrelated though to that.
Yeah, not entirely
That's
related.
Something for whatever reason made me think of that.
Yeah. Another team I'm interested in watching too is Vegas, because you get Martyr in there, and I think singularly I want to see how he plays in Vegas compared to what he was doing in Toronto, the role he played and all that stuff, because there's so much swirling around, the lead up to and the fallout after his departure from Toronto and everything that went into it, and hearing a lot of the outside noise and chatter, and I'm just very interested to see how he plays in that environment. And is it really the Maple Leafs curse of playing in that team and that organization in that town that changes how players play? And I'm fascinated to see how that plays out.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. I do think I don't know if it's a Toronto curse. I just think it is a lot to play there. It takes a mental toll on you.
It's extra. It definitely is extra.
Yeah. So I think Marner's going to thrive and I think it is a perfect, if you are of the mindset that Toronto was too much for Mitch Marner, Vegas is the perfect landing spot for him. Perfect. Because it's all nothing but sunshine and rainbows in Vegas. There's no I'm not saying there's not diehard Golden Knights fans.
There are.
But there's not long-suffering Golden Knights fans. That's not a thing that exists.
No, but they have expectations. They won't settle for, oh, well, if we miss the playoff. Like, they have expectations. They've won a Stanley Cup. They've been a contender essentially every year, right, except one.
So they're not suffering.
Of their yeah, but I'm saying though that the expectation is still there. The pressure to win and succeed, especially the profile player that he is still going to be there. But yeah, I think the sports and hockey market that is Vegas compared to Toronto is a lot different.
All right, next up we have Vlasic fan.
Nice.
Says, more important to the 2010s era, Seabrook or Crow?
Well, so for me, and when we did this a couple weeks ago, where we ranked the importance of the Cup era players, I had Seabrook ahead of Crawford. Out of the top 10, I had Seabrook at 5, Crawford at 6. It's razor thin. And it's you can go the opposite direction of having Crawford be more important too, because you could say that 2013 Cup probably doesn't happen if he doesn't have the playoffs he did. 2015 he was clutch, put up a shutout in the Cup clinching game, especially after a rocky start to that postseason run for him. He came back strong. But I think to have a guy next to a player like Duncan Keith, as reliable and as also equally clutch as Brent Seabrook was, almost irreplaceable. So that's why I had Seabrook one spot for me higher than Crawford.
I think it's Seabrook. I don't think it's close. I just think just to have that guy who is Hall of Fame borderline, that consistent, that healthy all the time, a guy you can set your watch to. I know Keith was the better of the two, but we're talking about Duncan Keith being maybe the best defenseman in the history of the franchise. Brent Seabrook's in that conversation. He's in the top. Let's see, Keith, however you want to arrange these. Keith Chelios, Pierre Palat, Doug Wilson,
Brent Seabrook.
Like he's right there.
Yeah.
Like he's right there. So I don't know if you could say the same about Crawford. I know it's different, but I feel like, and I don't want to take anything away from Corey. I love Corey Crawford.
Yeah.
And we have been fighting the battle of Corey Crawford since before the show even existed. Like, there's so much disrespect on his name, but I do feel like they did win a cup with Antti Niemi. I feel like they probably could have won a cup with a lesser goalie than Corey Crawford.
So
I don't want to take away from him, but I feel like without Seabrook, that's a gaping hole for them. That's another 23, 24 minutes a night at all strengths, clutch moments, leadership in spades. Like that's just, I think Seabrook is maybe, I don't want to say the most underappreciated part of that team, but I think people undersell how good he was for how long he was that good. Like Brent Seabrook was an essential part of this.
And
thing.
you can make that exact same statement about Corey Crawford.
Sure.
Yeah. And it's funny, like 2013, there was a legitimate discussion of, is Crawford your starter for the playoffs or is Ray Emery your starter for the playoffs?
Yeah.
And they went with Crawford and it ended up being a really good decision. But yeah, I mean, you were kind of at that point. And I think if you want to talk about the 2010s as a whole, Seabrook was there longer, so semantics.
Yeah, Sprout says they don't win in 2013 without Crow. Also, they don't win in 2010 or 13 without Seabrook.
Right. And Change the Logo says this is like asking which airplane wing is more important. Yeah, it's like I said, for me it's a razor thin difference between the importance of your top end borderline Hall of Famer number 2 defenseman or your starting goalie who backstopped you to 2 cups. Like it
must be nice to have a borderline Hall of Fame number 2 defenseman.
Yeah, it is.
It sounds great. Let's do that again.
It is nice.
Let's live in that time.
I want to.
All right, let's get a couple more in here. This from G-Bubs says, of all the European hockey countries, if you were to visit one based on A, history / natural beauty, and one for B, food culture, which city or region would you go to watch hockey? I really want to go to Prague, kind of for all those reasons.
Yeah.
They kind of checks all the boxes there.
Checks.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. I mean, the Hawks went there in 2019 for the European tour to start that season. Remember that? I think I'd go to one of the Nordic regions, either Finland or Sweden. Probably Sweden.
Sweden's a little better. Go see Anton Frondell.
Yeah, I'll go see Frondell and Marcus Kruger and those guys.
Scored a goal today. Check out our CHGO _Blackhawks Twitter account for that highlight.
Pretty good one. Yeah, I think I'd go to Sweden, and I do. There's a restaurant in North Park called Tre Kroner. It's a Swedish restaurant, if the name doesn't give it away. And it's delicious food. My wife and I have tried to make it a point to get there regularly since we don't live in the city anymore, but definitely would want to try out some, Swedish food that's directly from Sweden. But shout out Tre Kroner. It's a great restaurant. Yeah, I'd say Sweden.
I just want to go to Denmark too to try Rosio Sanchez's taco place in Copenhagen.
Sure.
I don't know how good their hockey is. I don't know how good Danish hockey is, but I just want a reason to go to Copenhagen. So there you go.
Yeah, I'm fine with that too.
All right.
Get a Danish
good question
with the Danish.
I like that one.
Mm-hmm.
We have more, Joey?
We got more, of course.
Okay, so this one was typing error. So we got to zoom in on this.
What
bad
happened?
boy.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no, it's a two-parter. My
Okay.
bad. Atomic Hawk says, what awards would y'all want added to the end of the season? Like instead of, in addition to Calder Trophy, you have an award for top rookie forward, top defenseman, and rookie goaltender, maybe an award for most assists. And part 2 of this, should awards keep their names or honor players over time, like replacing the Rocket Richard with the Ovechkin, since he's the best goal scorer, alternatively with whoever has won it the most, also Ovi. I don't like changing the names. I think keeping the old names alive, it keeps the history of the game alive. Oh, he won the Richard Trophy. Who is Richard? Go look it up.
Sure. Yeah. I think if you're going to adding
trophies, stuff would be
then
names.
then you can give out some.
But there's no Gretzky Trophy.
Some new names.
Like until there's a Gretzky Trophy.
Well, okay,
that's got to be the first thing that's added. Maybe there's your
could
assist leader.
Could the Gretzky one be most points, and then you could change the Art Ross to something else? You could shift it over.
I don't have a problem.
Or make, the one that I would like to have, and I know that there kind of is this award with the distinction between the Ted Lindsay, which is the best player voted on by the players, and then the Hart Memorial, which is the MVP voted on by the media. I would like there to be an MVP and a most outstanding player. And
Okay.
I think you could do that with not just the NHL.
Yeah.
You could do it with pretty much every major sports league. Because you have the debate of like, okay, like for example, Connor McDavid goes out and puts up 140 points and leads the league in scoring and all that stuff. But he also has Leon Draisaitl, who puts up 115 points. And then Evan Bouchard puts up 80 points. Like you have a player on a stacked team like that, right? Are they the most valuable to their team, or did they have the most outstanding season by having 50 goals and 140 points and stuff like that? Whereas then you could have a player who maybe has a 120 point season or whatever, but is like far and away the leader of their team. And if you pluck that player off that team doesn't have anywhere near the success that they do. So let's say, for example, I don't know, Clayton Keller, right? He has a 115 point season and gets the Mammoth into the playoffs for the first time and blah, blah, blah.
By like 40 points.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Then could you say he's most valuable to his team and McDavid is the most outstanding season that he had?
Yeah.
Can I ask a dumb hockey question?
Yes.
Of course.
Why doesn't the NHL do like an all-pro team?
They do.
Yeah, they do like first.
They have
What's
all
it?
they have
NHL.
all
But
NHL.
how deep does it go?
First and second team, I believe.
It's like two
And then there's
lines.
there's an
Okay.
all rookie.
And then they do an all-rookie team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's it. So that's they.
Why does it have?
It's
am
called
I wrong?
All-Stars.
But does it not? Okay, but why does it not
There's
have
a-
the same prestige?
There's a difference between being nominated to the All-Star game,
right?
and then being an All-Star at the end of the season.
Oh,
There's a difference there. 'Cause
okay.
if you
Maybe
say
change the name. Maybe
they
change
don't.
the
Yeah.
name.
Well, yeah. I think that would be good because if you say like, who am I'm trying to think of, it might be one of the many Blackhawks who were All-Stars. There's a difference between how many times they were an All-Star at the end of the year and times that they actually went to the All-Star game.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe change the name.
Well,
Add a little bit more of a zhuzh of like he's a 5-time first teamer.
Yeah.
First team
5-time All-Star team.
Yeah.
All-Star game,
And then
All-Star team.
All-Star appearances. Yeah.
I would like and Sprout and a couple other people say it, split the Norris, have an offensive trophy, call the Norris for the best defender, call the Orr for the best scorer,
Yeah.
right? Like for your Erik Karlsson types. Great. Fine. I love that. That's why I've always thought, as if I was a player, I would prefer to win the Ted Lindsay Award over the Hart because it's voted on by the players. And I think like when the NHLPA is voting for me as the most outstanding player, I think that's a little more meaningful than the media doing it. So if I was to choose, like if you can win one NHL award, it would be the Ted Lindsay because that means you have the utmost respect of your peers.
Yeah.
And maybe that like, I think that needs to be thought of with a little more value than it is. Not that the Lindsay is undervalued, but everyone talks about how many Hart trophies somebody has won.
Mm-hmm.
But the Lindsay, that's the one that I feel like when it's voted on by the players, it's a little more meaningful. Like they play against me every night. They think that I am the toughest player to play against.
Yeah.
So to me, that's the pinnacle of individual awards.
Yeah,
by the
I
way,
agree.
Kucherov won it last year. McKinnon, McDavid, Matthews, McDavid, Draisaitl. So like it tracks.
Definitely tracks for sure. Yeah. And a lot of times they mirror each other, the MVP and the Hart and the Lindsay, but sometimes they don't.
All right, want to do one more? Then we'll do some Would You Rathers for Would You Rather Wednesday.
See what we got.
Let's do one more. This is from Big Len.
Big Len with a big question.
I need you to read that. Oh, there we go. Okay. Big Len says, for the mailbag, why isn't it a requirement for wingers to be defensively responsible like it is for centers? Is it just because centers occupy the center of the ice? Certainly some wingers are lauded for their defensive work, looking at you, Marian Hossa, but it cuts off. That's the one that's the one I had a typing error. But we got the gist of the question.
But it doesn't seem to be a requirement. Why not? ?
Yeah, there you go.
I think it's less of a requirement. There's less defensive assignment for wingers because you're not usually schematically playing lower in the defensive zone.
Yeah.
Centers more or less have to, cover the center of the ice, and they basically go from crease to crease with their responsibilities. And so defensively, forward wingers and defensemen, they kind of have the same, or they kind of have mirrored assignments, whereas a defenseman, they'll go deeper into the defensive zone behind the net. They have more responsibility there. I'm saying defenseman.
Yeah. Okay.
And then, so wingers will stay more or less higher, like face-off dots and above in the defensive zone up towards the blue line. That's more or less where they usually will cover. And then obviously in the offensive zone, they have more freedom and they'll go deeper like that. So it's kind of like, if you think of it in the most basic form, if you have your two defensemen, your two wingers, and your center in the middle, and you kind of just have some lanes and they kind of just move equidistant like that. That'd be the way that I would kind of
that's the simplest way to explain it. It's just more responsibility for a center.
Because you have to cover more ice to cover. You cover more ground inherently.
All right, let's do some Would You Rathers. You said you have 14, so I'm going to let you
15.
Dang.
All right, I'm just going to pick one at random. Bloop. This one. Always know the exact time it is without looking, or know the exact weather for the day ahead. So you will always know
exact weather. I feel like I'm always within striking distance of accurate time.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's just my years in radio. I have kind of a good sense of.
You are always looking at the sun too, so you figure it out.
That's why he's got glasses.
You're very good instinctually sundialing. That is very impressive.
I stare directly at the sun, especially during an eclipse. It's part of my presidential campaign. I would like to know the weather a day ahead of time, so I know what pants to wear.
Okay.
It's the biggest problem in my life.
I think knowing the exact weather ahead of time would be great, because you can prepare for when things will, like if you have like plans the next day that are like all outdoors, but you know for sure, okay, at 4:00 it's going to start torrential downpouring, be in the house by 4, and we won't run into any problems. Now,
or tornado, volcano.
Well, yeah, that too. Oh, okay,
I gotta get out of town.
We're gonna leave town. We're gonna leave town because there's gonna be lava in the streets tomorrow.
What's the weather like tomorrow? Oh, honey, 77% chance of volcano.
Yeah,
maybe we won't go to IKEA.
Yeah, I think that one does work. All right, how about one more?
Yeah.
Would you rather be completely customizable like a video game character, or you get $10 million but you can't spend it on things to change your appearance?
Oh, $10 million. Easy.
I want complete video game customization. I want to change. I could be a different character every day.
Yeah.
With different attire every day, with different hair every day. It could be like Fortnite. I could look like a completely different character every day. Fully customizable. Could put like a unicorn pool floaty around me.
You can do that anyway.
With like a DJ.
You can
what's
do
his face?
You don't need. You can do that.
DJ Marshmallow hat and a big hammer. Yeah.
You can.
It's not publicly acceptable.
Well,
most of the time, I don't.
Just get on the L. You'll be fine. You'll fit right in.
That's true.
No, $10 million. I've already coped with my appearance. There's nothing more I can do about it. I've gotten 47 years plus with it, so that's fine. I'll take the $10 million and live comfortably in my ugliness. I'm happy with that. All right, that was fun. Good show. Thanks everybody for being here. Tomorrow, we're going to welcome Tony Granato to the show. We're going to do a little delayed start due to studio availability. We don't want to cram Tony Granato into this studio, so we'll start tomorrow's show
2:15.
at 2:15. So set a reminder, or just get here at 2, hit the like button early, and just chill out and wait for us while we wait for Tony Granato. Should be a lot of fun. Really looking forward to it, so make sure you're with us. And don't forget, major show announcement coming tomorrow. And just a little teaser, you might want to become a diehard right now. allchgo.com/join if you're into saving money on events. All right. We'll talk to you Thursday at 2:15 with Tony Granato right here on the CHGO Blackhawks Podcast.
We all silly like the mayor.